please stand for the opening prayer and pledge?
Father in heaven, bless us as we gather today for this meeting. Guide our minds and hearts so that we will work for the good of our community. Teach us to be generous in our outlook, courageous in the face of difficulty, and wise in our decisions. Thy will be done. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hancock County Commission will come to order this 17th day of August 2017 at 2:30 p.m. Mr. Clerk, I'll ask you to take a roll call, please.
Mr. President, all commissioners are present.
Thank you. Move down to new business. Approval of the July 2017 Animal Shelter Report.
Move to approve.
Discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approval to award grass cutting packet number 3 to the lawn barber at the prorated amount of $3,458.30 due to J&M Signature Landscaping request to be released from their contract.
Move to approve.
Discussion? Just FYI, packet 3 is Three Springs Cemetery, Peter Tar Furnace, Cove Valley Park area. No further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approval to reclassify Sarah Rachel Parrish from full-time to part-time administrative assistant at the animal shelter.
Move to approve.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approval to advertise for a full-time administrative assistant at the animal shelter.
Move to approve.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. County Clerk's Office, approval of the number 1 commissioner and poll worker for October 7th, 2017 special election.
Move to approve.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I'm sorry? Oh, yeah. There's an item that came up that we failed to get on the agenda. It's not of real importance, but would like to bring it up. Mike, if you have any objection, and what it is, it's just our agreement with Hancock County Senior Center on Gas Valley. They need to apply for their state funding, and they just needed their yearly updated agreement that we have with them. And how about I give this to you? You look it over, and we'll continue and come back at the end of the meeting. Is that all right?
That'll be fine.
Okay. Moving on, approval of exoneration orders. We had 30 of them.
Move to approve.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of general county bills.
General county bills were $217,735.54. P-card payments were $31,082.65.
Discussion?
Move to approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of animal shelter levy fund bills and requisitions.
They're okay to pay.
Discussions? All in favor?
Move to approve.
Now is there discussion? Sorry. My fault. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of shelter workshop levy fund bills and requisitions.
They're okay to pay.
Move to approve.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Wait a minute. Skip something.
Did you skip library?
Yes. Skip the library fund. D.
Thank you.
They're okay to pay.
I'll actually read it.
Okay, sorry.
Approval of library levy fund bills and requisitions.
They're okay to pay.
Move to approve.
Discussion.
And Mr. President.
All in favor of approval of library levy fund bills and requisitions?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. I do apologize. I have new progressive lenses and everything is all whacked up here. Thank you for bringing this to my attention. Moving back to the top of the agenda, approval of minutes for August 3rd, 2017.
Move to approve.
Discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
So in regards to this, my understanding is that this is something that is just their in-kind letter, and it's just something sort of just to renew the ongoing relationship with the senior center. Is there any harm, since it is not on the agenda? Really the textbook answer is you make sure it's on the agenda so that way there's proper notice of it. Is there any harm in simply delaying this until the next meeting? I don't know that there.
Said she needed that when she presented the budget. When did they go through?
Okay. This is simply the in-kind letter include the period of July 1st. We may have a representative here from the senior center. Can we recess just briefly so I can talk with her real quickly? Okay.
I'll accept the motion. We go into recess for 5 minutes.
Move for recess for 5 minutes.
We are in recess. County Commission will come back in after a brief recess to discuss a matter. I'll turn to Mr. Lucas at this point.
I would just, technicality, you want to vote to come in out of the recess.
I accept a motion.
Is there a motion?
Motion to
Come back into session.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Had a chance to speak with the Hancock County Senior Center with Beth, the director. This can wait till the next meeting. It's perfectly fine. I would just suggest that because there's no issue of there's no any form of challenge. Although I don't know that a challenge would be successful, but nonetheless, I think your best course of action is just let it wait till the next meeting since it's not needed urgently. And if I'm being particularly technical about this, it's because out of disclosure, I'll say that I am on the board of directors for the Senior Center. So I don't want to be anybody making guilty accusations of guilt of being biased and partial to the Senior Center. So I just want to make sure the I's are dotted and T's are crossed. So
Good call. Since that was not on the agenda, we don't need to take any action then.
Correct.
Next week.
correct.
Okay. Moving on, citizens' remarks. Do we have any citizens here wishing to address the commission today? If not, for the good of the order, Mr. Scola?
Nothing today,
Mr. Lucas?
Briefly, in light of the upcoming open house at the animal shelter, these are just a few of the highlights of the successes the shelter has had, particularly under the control of the county. It's just some basic things that have gone there in terms of the infrastructure. The shelter was able to eliminate a rodent infestation that had taken place at some point in the past. Some other aspects of the infrastructure were that there was an effort to clean the ductwork, which was at a fairly considerable expense to the county. It had been several years, apparently, since that had been cleaned, according to the folks who did clean that. And what this has done, at least it was suspected that this had added to the problem of sick animals in the past, where that was cleaned up. Some other items that were done were that leaking pipes were repaired, molding that was missing from walls was addressed and remedied. The building's been painted. The outdoor kennels were repaired. Apparently there was some damage to one of the gates and animals could potentially escape, so that was repaired. And there was basically some general groundskeeper maintenance. There was a weed overgrowth issue, which was suspected to contribute to that rodent issue, and that was done. So these are all things that the staff of the shelter, and I imagine Bob Vitus had a hand in this as well, at addressing. Perhaps the biggest thing, though, is the elimination of a wait list. The county's animal shelter employs an open door policy. Animals are not waitlisted, whether it's someone wants to refer to, in some situations, an involuntary wait list or a wait list. It's still a wait list. And what we're essentially saying when you wait list animals is that you're shutting the door in their face, so to speak, and forcing them to survive on the street. You're taking the chances against Mother Nature, other animals, disease, injury, and whatnot. So when you have a wait list, what you have essentially is hidden euthanasia, because when those animals are not brought in, when they're forced to remain to fend for themselves, there are so many ways that they are killed or otherwise die, or they actually kill other animals just in an attempt to survive. There's no way to measure that form of euthanasia, so to speak, because there's nowhere to track that. So by eliminating a waiting list and having an open door policy, you take in all animals, you eliminate any hidden euthanasia, and what you also do, maybe most importantly, is that you do what the shelter is there to do to begin with, which is help to control the stray animal population of the county. So again, that's an open door policy that they strictly use. There have been no animals euthanized to create space. The staff there has been able to find placement for animals, whether in the shelter, in foster care, at other pet-friendly locations where the animals can be adopted, or just outright adoption. Again, nothing has been put down just to create space. They're not simply a place to warehouse animals, and they accept essentially all comers. If for some reason it's an exotic animal, which I don't even know if that has ever come up, but if for any reason it's an exotic animal that cannot be, housed at the shelter, they find suitable placement for it. So nothing has been turned away, and nothing has been put down to create space. So I would just like to point out that has taken place there, that things have improved, and maybe last but not least, it is an emergency placement partner for the Humane Society of the United States, and the Commission may remember they had a representative who came here to discuss that and award that placement or that designation to the shelter. So those are just some of the highlights that if people can learn more about if they attend the open house at the shelter.
Thank you. Very good, thank you. Mr. Vitus?
I just wanted to remind everybody about the open house. Should be Saturday, the 26th. And as the last thing Mike just said, at current time we are partnering. Actually, do have some animals that were taken as a humane out of Jefferson County last week. If you saw that article on the news, so we do participate in that.
Thank you. Carol?
Kids are going back to school, which means our summer programs are slowing down. Clubs will be starting up again here soon. We look forward to another 4-H year. Camp went very well this year. We had 61 kids. We very much worked hard with some new policies that we have for youth protection with WVU. All of our volunteers being what we call fully vetted, very well trained. And we had, this year I did a lot of what I would call over-recruitment to make sure that we were keeping up well with the ratio of at least one adult for every 8 kids, and we very much exceeded that ratio. With at least 2 adults, if not 3 in each cabin, so the kids were always safe. We had fabulous food. 2 of our volunteers donated an event-style gas grill, at which our camp cook then cooked all of our meals throughout the week on this gas grill. He had fun. The kids loved the food, so that was all good. We had our annual joint Clever Bud Camp with Brooke County 4-H last week, and we had 27 kids there, which was up from the year before of 17, so we were very excited about that increase. We had a lot of really good folks that came in. Jeff, one I know will be near and dear to your heart is we had some financial management training, financial literacy training for 5 to 8-year-olds last week. And, of course, we had our annual Animal Day. Tracy remarked last year, why didn't you have a partridge in a pear tree? Well, this year we did have a bird. It still wasn't the partridge in the pear tree. We had about every other animal you can think of, though. So I think the kids had a great time. Our teen leaders did a great job, again, working with the youth. I'm so proud of them all. 2 very successful sites at Energy Express, again, this year at Weirton Elementary and Allison Elementary. Very happy there. I would say that about Every staff member who could return from last year did return. Only those who were ineligible or simply could not schedule it were not back with us this year. So that was always really exciting to have that many there to mentor those who were coming in and being new. So we had a fabulous summer in both places there as well, and very much appreciate the partnerships and, again, the ongoing support that we get from you all. We couldn't do it without you, so thank you.
Thank you.
Jeannie.
Last week, the Secretary of State's office mailed out over 3,000 postcards to registered voters in Hancock County. What this will do, the postcards will help keep the registration rules up to date. It will also save money for the county, and the impact on the voter turnout percentage will be adjusted. So if you receive these in the mail, please feel free to fill them out and send it back to us. The postage is paid, so please.
Thank you. Mr. Wright?
Well, we're in the process of selecting jurors for the if they return to the grand jury, so I'm going to warn you to work here at the courthouse around about the 13th and 14th of September. Parking's going to be at a premium, so get here early. And, but other than that, everything's going good. I'm actually starting to catch on, so miracles do happen.
Thank you, Chuck. Mr. Foley?
Nothing today.
Mr. Cowie?
Nothing at this time.
Mr. Barnaby?
Just to follow up on Carol, we actually, the commissioners were at Thomas and Run 4-H camp when Carol was putting on her 4-H with the kids, and I commend you on a job well done. Well-behaved kids, well-respected kids, and that's much needed today. Very good.
Kids.
Right.
They really were a great group of kids this year.
We were offered to taste the food, but we didn't. Now I regret it.
Hey,
The mac and cheese looked awful good.
all I'm going to say is we had sirloin steak sandwiches on Tuesday for lunch. Freshly made pancakes, freshly made French toast. You missed it. Good food. I mean, I told the staff the night before camp, if anybody goes hungry, it's your own fault this week. And because we even have a fresh fruit and salad bar at lunch and dinner every day for those kids. And they eat it up. So.
You want to eat good up there, stick close to Pat Ford, I'm telling you.
That's all.
That's it. The only question I have, Mr. Vitus, I would have mentioned this to you earlier today, but I simply forgot. I've had some inquiries about old police cruisers. Are there any plans to have an auction in the near future?
I haven't talked to the sheriff yet. He hasn't come up with that, but I understand there are several down by the garage that maybe we will do what we did before and do sealed bid, accept sealed bids. I will get with him when he gets back.
Okay. We do have one of the items that was brought to my attention. There's an old Kubota tractor. It's been sitting in Gas Valley in the barn for a number of years. Not sure that evidently it doesn't run, but that's something we may want to look at putting on the auction too. If we have no further business to come before us today, I'd like to mention that the courthouse will be closed on September the 4th. That's Labor Day. And our next commission meeting will be September the 7th at 2:30 p.m. No further business. I'll accept the motion that we adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
We are adjourned.